What's up guys, I'm back with another video. Today we are doing a what if scenario if Harry Potter was sorted into Slytherin. Well, first off, we all see in the first movie that the Sorting Hat wanted to place Harry in Slytherin. Now, what if the Sorting Hat did place him in Slytherin? Well, because of Harry's suggestion saying, "Please do not put me in Slytherin," the Sorting Hat took his choice into account and put him in Gryffindor. Now, because Harry's predisposition against Slytherin was all because of Ron and his conversation with Ron before the sorting ceremony. He told him that all dark witches and wizards started in Slytherin. So he naturally was like, "Please do not put me in Slytherin," which then influenced the choice of the Hat, which then the Hat chose to put Harry in Gryffindor. So the first point I would like to make is that everyone's reaction would have been very different if he was sorted into Slytherin. At that moment when the Hat said Gryffindor, if it would have said Slytherin, the whole hall wouldn't have erupted. The only table that was quiet during that time was the Slytherins. So if he was sorted into Slytherin, the Slytherin table would have erupted, while the rest of the tables would have just been quiet, and the staff table would have been like appalled by what they just heard, which then could have had many impacts on Harry and his perception of Hogwarts. He could have seen that the Slytherins were very glad that he was accepted into their house, so he would have either felt comfort in being with them because of the rest of the whole school pretty much was in shock, and he would have wondered, why are they in shock, like what's wrong with this house. So it could have just affected him in many different ways, and that could have played out differently throughout the entire story. Now for this one, it's kind of sad because if you think about it, since he wouldn't be in Gryffindor, his relationship with Hermione and Ron wouldn't be as developed as it was when he was in Gryffindor. I mean, he did talk with them briefly when he was on the train and when he was walking up to the Sorting Hat, and he had conversations with Ron. He was closer with Ron than with Hermione. But if he was in Slytherin, he wouldn't have that connection with Ron and Hermione as we see when he's in Gryffindor. I mean, it could be different. I could be wrong. Maybe he finds ways to meet up with Ron and they just hang out. But I'm just saying his time spent with Ron and Hermione would have been drastically reduced because of him being in a different house, being in Slytherin. And it would be hard to work around the stigma that Gryffindors aren't friends with Slytherins and Slytherins aren't friends with Gryffindors. I mean, none of the houses are truly friends with the Slytherins, so I mean, I could be wrong. Harry could be the one to break that stigma and could have been friends with Ron and Hermione, and he could have still had that golden trio, but I just feel like it wouldn't be to that same extent. Because of this, because of Harry and Ron's separation and being in different houses, and that affecting the development of their relationship, could have actually affected Harry's relationship with the entire Weasley family. It could have been potentially non-existent. So if you think about that, the Weasley family wouldn't have, quote unquote, adopted Harry as their another son of theirs, because I mean, come on, they're family. Harry and the Weasleys are family. Come on, we all know that. So I mean, he wouldn't have flown Arthur's car. He wouldn't have gotten the Marauders map from Fred and George. He wouldn't have even probably married Ginny, if you think about it, which then would have affected his kids' lives and being a brother-in-law to Ron. So the entirety of Ron and Harry's relationship has a lot of components to it. Ron gave him more than just being a friend. He gave him a family. So with Harry being in Slytherin, I'm not sure if Ron and Harry's friendship would have developed to the point in which he would have met the Weasley family. So this next point relates to the relationship between Harry and Hermione. Now, if Harry was sorted into Slytherin and didn't have a friend to constantly urge him to do his work, he probably would have failed all his classes. Now, when he was in Gryffindor, which he is, Hermione was always there by his side, urging him and Ron to do their work. So if he was in Slytherin and didn't have that type of person to continuously urge him to do his work and get good grades, he probably would have failed his classes. Now this next point is, I feel like Harry and Draco would still not be friends, that even though they shared the same house, that they would still get in fights and they'd still be at odds, and that possibilities are that they could have some duels in the Slytherin common room. I mean, you never know. So I just feel like they would still butt heads and they would not be good friends. I mean, they could be acquaintances maybe, but I don't think they would be best friends or even friends to that matter. Now for this next one, I feel like Harry would realize that not all Slytherins are evil. I feel like he would see Draco as being the baddie, as the one that is the worst of them all, but I feel like he would actually find other people within Slytherin that are actually good. I mean, there's obviously other people that are bad and are sly and cunning, but I feel like he would find some other quiet, more reserved Slytherins that don't speak their mind as often. Maybe they're more good-hearted, and that he would have never met or even talked to when he was in Gryffindor, and that he would find that truly not all Slytherins are evil. Now, being that I just said not all Slytherins are evil, I still feel like Harry would have more access and information, inside knowledge about Voldemort's whereabouts and his Death Eaters. Since a lot of Slytherins are sons and daughters of Death Eaters, including Draco Malfoy, with his father being Lucius Malfoy, I feel like he'd overhear a lot of conversations and get a lot of inside knowledge about Voldemort's whereabouts and his followers, so that he can further devise a plan to defeat him in the long run. Now, for the relationship between Snape and Harry, I feel like it would be more complicated, because I feel that with Harry being in Slytherin, Snape would try and change Harry into this different personality that Harry's not. Because I feel like Harry's personality would still be the same as it was if he was in Gryffindor. Some might say that the perceptions and influences of the Slytherins might change him, which, I mean, that could be true to an extent, but I feel like the heart of Harry would still be the same. So with Snape trying to change him, because he reminds him so much of James Potter, and him trying to change Harry into this different personality that he's not, I feel like the tensions would still be there and still be at the high point, but they would just be different, because Snape's is a little more accepting of Harry because he's in Slytherin, but he would be still trying to change him and have this aggression towards him because of the way he acts. But also there might be even more tension because the way Harry acts, being in the house that maybe Snape thinks that he's misrepresenting the Slytherin house because of the way he's acting. So I think the relationship between Snape and Harry could be way more complicated and a lot more story to be told if he was in the Slytherin house. So going off that point further about Harry's personality being the same as it would be if he was in Gryffindor, I do feel like his personality would be the same, or maybe even just slightly altered. Like, it wouldn't be drastically different. He wouldn't be like Draco Malfoy. I still feel like he would be courageous, he would still be defiant, he would go against the rules, he would still be a troublemaker, but I feel like he would still have good reasons for all his doings, and that he would be a good soul, and that I feel like because of that, I feel like it would change the result and what people view Slytherins as, because he is such a celebrity and there's such a big eye on his back that I feel like people would look in and be like, wow, Harry's in Slytherin and he's acting this way. He's not the average Slytherin that we see, like Draco Malfoy, for example, or all the previous dark wizards in Slytherin, and people would wonder why that is, and they would think, well, maybe it's because not all Slytherins are bad, and that would kind of deconstruct the negative connotation of Slytherins. So yeah, that's my take on if Harry was sorted into Slytherin. I would like to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Like, tell me, did I get anything wrong? Did I miss any points? Also tell me if you disagree with any of these feelings I have, like if you think that Harry would become a baddie and that he would be in Slytherin and he would join the ranks with Draco and become a Death Eater. I don't know. Just tell me your thoughts. Yeah, I'd like to know. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it. And make sure to subscribe if you guys like this content. And if this video gets enough positive feedback, I'll be sure to make more videos like it. So I will see you guys in the next video.